Yo, Yogapreneurs, welcome back. We announced Jennifer yesterday. I wanted to officially jump on today to welcome and announce Chesley to the official Yogapreneur Collective coaching team. Obviously, you guys have seen Chesley's been in the mix. He's been doing some projects with you. He's coaching with some of you. He's run a webinar, a couple of them actually already. He's going to be a main component here in the network and for coaching. But I wanted to come on to just officially announce and say that Chesley is ready to go with coaching calls and talk a little bit about, again, why do we have specific coaches in the network? How do we look at this? And we talked yesterday briefly about how there are a couple of criteria. The first is you have to have proven that you are successful in yoga business. You can't just be some random person that says, I think I can help yoga studios. It's our experience that you need to understand the nuance of what's going on in the yoga business to really be able to help other yoga businesses. What Chesley brings to the equation and why I'm so excited, Chesley, to have you on the team is the perspective of running a lot of yoga events through his business, Camp Yoga, which I'll let you tell us a little bit about in a second here. But just that is a major component of the value chain when we're helping increase the profitability of a business. Is you have to have more SKUs to sell. So events are a huge component of that. Obviously, you spent lots of time in studios, traveled around, etc. But then the other detail is Chesley is one of our absolute go-to people for things such as projects in your brand bot or projects in your mind body marketing suite and that sort of marketing side of things. Chesley spent the time to really dive deep into those programs and know the tiny intricacies. There's very few people that I feel like just clearly know way more than I do about how these platforms work, and you're one of them, Chesley. So I think that's a really awesome, addition to the team, and you'll be a great resource for people to lean on. So maybe Chesley, I'll spin it over to you. Tell us a little bit about the backstory. How did we get here? How did you end up becoming a yoga business coach?
Yes. So thank you for welcoming me. I loved having connected with the people that I've coached so far, and just the webinar and the questions that come in. It really vitalizes my want to coach. The journey here has been fantastic. I grew up and am now back in a village of 200 people in Nova Scotia. And prior to COVID, I was living nomadically, much like Josh, was stationed in Colombia, doing most of my work remotely. And Camp Yoga is an adult summer camp experience where there's everything from zip lining and archery to meditation, sound bowls, and live bands. And I use the MindBody software to act as a hotel management software, meal preference selector, and scheduler. And doing that has had me dive into MindBody and softwares of the similar nature so deep that I just love what it does for my time, giving me time back, and that making things operate like Airbnb in automation and quickness, and that Camp Yoga operates in 9 different places in Canada and the United States, and I don't have staff anywhere. A lot of this is myself. So constantly trying to find avenues to cut my manual labor budget by using automation systems and softwares. And MindBody, BrandBot, Marketing Suite are all tools that have saved me countless hours of labor, countless hours of staff and training, and it just works. And I love that things are working when I'm closed. When I'm sleeping, it's still working. So Camp Yoga just was a brainchild that came from becoming a yoga instructor, managing a yoga studio and several yoga studios, and then going to Wonderlust. And so what I feel like I bring to coaching is that I've been the teacher and I've had those relationships with the owners, and that pay between staff and owner, and that relationship and what it needs to look like and feel like as a teacher. I've managed before, so I understand the journey flow from intro special to conversion, and that relationship between manager and the staff from the top down perspective as well as the bottom up. And now as a business owner that has coached several yoga studios and have stepped foot in over 300 from being nomadic, I just feel like it's a great passion to have. And yoga studio owners are the easiest owners of any industry to become close personal friends with. And there's just nothing better than a community working together to better each other's business. And it's just feels so good to be able to have a hand in people feeling better about themselves, because I always say that the yoga industry is driven so much by passion. Like, most people have got their foot in the game by just saying, I'm doing this. I'm so passionate about the gift of yoga that I need to give this to other people, and they just run with it. And being able to support that journey, even when people don't know necessarily everything, it just feels great. And I'm just passionate about it. So that's the quick synopsis.
I love it. I love it so much. And I really feel like that's exactly the whole reason that the Yogapreneur Collective even came to fruition. It's like, as a passionpreneur, you and me, myself included, you don't get into business because you're like, you know what? I just love business. I think you do love business over time, like you get into it, but it's not the core reason why you start. So you're right. It's like one of the most fun groups of people to work with are passionpreneurs as well, like all you yogapreneurs, because we have a bigger purpose in mind here. So, and clearly, Chesley, you've proven that that's how you operate as well. So I feel like that's a huge.
Yeah, and I haven't always gotten it right, and that's some of the best gifts to be able to give to your community, is the failures that I've made and corrected over time. Is now I can shorten that gap for people that I work with, because I certainly have tripped along the way, made mistakes, and by using BrandBot for my own business and automation tools, things that have taken me 6 months to a year over that length of time, I now can do in a couple of weeks for other people, because I've made the mistakes of like, oh yeah, that trigger should have happened this way. This rule should have met here. And numbers just, you know, I'm a math guy, and numbers don't lie, and feelings are great, but doing KPIs and running numbers for people and just putting that on the wall and making database decisions is what really helps people move forward.
Yeah, one of the big things you've highlighted here, and I think it's one of the biggest values of having a coach like Chesley in your corner, is time. If we look at how business works, right, it's like time buys money, then money buys back time, and then eventually money buys money, but that's a different conversation. But if you think about, again, from the passionpreneur perspective, like, why open your own yoga business? Because you want to grind and work 80 hours a week? Unlikely. It's because there's a lifestyle that comes with it as well. And part of that isn't just the amount of time that you have, but it's having control over your time. And I think that that's the finer detail that's often not discussed. But to your point, figuring out how to optimize your efforts towards things that will become part of the business machine, because they're an automation, because they're a system, because they're making you money while you're sleeping, to use your analogy as well. Those are the things that really make your life better, like your quality of life as an entrepreneur. So I think that you have unique experience in that, and especially in the problem solving about, you know, MindBody wasn't built as an event platform, but you've made it function that way, being that you already knew it. And same thing with the automations that come with that. So if you guys are looking for someone to help you master your automations, and even take on the project of helping you actually just do the automations themselves. Sometimes we just need to be like, Chesley, I need you to do this. I need this to happen. That is something that Chesley can offer as well. So I'm super excited to have you in the team. How do you get started with Chesley? He needs some more coaching clients. He's got open blocks on his schedule still. So I will put the link down below for the free strategy session. It's a no BS, no strings attached call. You jump right on with Chesley. You get to meet, talk about what's going on in your business, devise a plan, and then he'll break down how the coaching program works, and we'll get you rolling in there. So yeah, I'll put the link down below for that. And Chesley, we're super pumped to have you in the crew. Any final thoughts or words here?
No, I'm just looking forward to working with everybody, and it's just exciting. Every new call, I'm a community driven person, just to meet people. So even if it's just bouncing ideas around on that 30-minute call and you need to come back later, that's what this whole community is about, and that's what we thrive on. And it's sometimes even on that call, you might lay in bed at night. I always say laying in bed at night, because that's when my mind is like, I wonder if I could do this. And quite often on calls and my coaching clients, they tell me that they've been thinking about something for 6 months. They just didn't know how to create it as an automation. And, you know, sometimes creating an automation requires creating 2 automations to then solve for the third automation, is really what it requires. And people just don't know that it's possible. So asking me might just be what you're looking for.
Yep. And again, working with a coach, going back to the time equation too, they get to learn from what you've done. So they're compressing time, basically. It's leapfrogging you forward. We always say, like, when you're working with a coach like Chesley, beyond the accountability, beyond the specific expertise, beyond the knowledge that he's acquired, what you're purchasing is time. So you're going to leapfrog yourself 2 years forward working with someone like Chesley, because again, you don't have to go through the process of trial and error that's already been done. So I really think that's a huge value point too.
Yeah,
Love it.
I've designed my life to give me time back. And that's what you're essentially what you're enrolling with coaching me is getting more time back. That's all I want to do for people is set up tools that automate your life so that you then go get to do the things that you love, because that's the way I've designed my life.
Exactly. Time. I mean, and I always think about the time equals money. We could have this conversation all day. Yeah. Obviously, I think about the time equals money equation too, that it's like time equals money, because it's not that it's just straight equals money, because time equals opportunity. So when you get time back, you create more capacity and opportunity, which could be to do personal things, whatever you want, go sit on the beach, go for a bike ride, whatever. But it can also be, that's how you actually up level as an entrepreneur. So it is really the linchpin pinnacle piece of the puzzle to solve for is to how to get your time back so that you have that increased capacity as well. So same thing, just on the purest business side, time money equation as well. So yeah.
Cool.
Good stuff, you guys. Thanks, Chesley, for coming in the group. Super excited to have you here. Click to book your free strategy call with Chesley down below. And if you have any questions for him, you can comment on this video or ping him anywhere in the Yogapreneur Collective network. Talk to you guys soon.
Ciao.
Peace.